So tell us, why did Napo go to court?
I think that he has always held the view that public office has a standard which is very high, and that once you are in that space, you need to maintain that standard of being above, certain things, including the kind of association you even engage in. And so he felt that the comment had defamed him because he had been associated with a person who had been described as a criminal and a hoodlum, a bandit, and indeed the ringleader of a kidnapping syndicate at a time when the kidnapping of the Canadian girls had become a global issue. And so therefore the lenses of the world, were on Ghana. And so when you have somebody saying or making such a comment at that material time, clearly you are exposing him to ridicule or reducing him in the estimation of the minds of the right-thinking members of society, not just in Ghana, globally. So he needed to vindicate himself. Because in this day of the internet, when you type Dr. Mathew Opoku Prempeh, these are some of the stories that would have ordinarily come up. Now with this decision of the court, people would also get to know that he went to court to vindicate himself.
So basically, the case you were prosecuting is that the words used by Sammy Gyamfi to link Dr. Mathew Opoku Prempeh, your client, with the alleged criminal was such that it was unfair to Dr. Mathew Opoku Prempeh.
Yes, I mean, he reduced him in the eyes and minds of the right-thinking members of society as that somebody of that standing will be having or will have the ringleader of a kidnapping syndicate as
His
an
errand
errand
boy.
boy. I mean, it's not proper.
Was the court interested in the definition of an errand boy?
No, the court wasn't interested in the definition because of the way things turned out. It would have become necessary if, for instance, they've been able to establish that indeed there was some association, at which point the next level would have been whether or not that association amounted to.
So they were not able to establish an association at all between Seidu
They
and Mathew Opoku Prempeh.
They were not.
They couldn't establish
No.
that at least they know each other. They couldn't establish
Paul, you see, and that is why, very respectfully, when you invited me, I felt the need to come because I had seen certain things being put out, making it seem as though they were unfairly treated
in the trial.
In the trial,
yes.
And indeed,
they've said so.
Exactly. And so then it becomes necessary to put some of these things out, even before you have the full judgment to read and appreciate what actually went on. See, as you are aware, when I allege defamation against you, okay, what is important, right? There are ingredients of that, which I must prove, right? It's been established by our Supreme Court.
Yeah.
It's either that the words used in its natural sense constitute defamation.
Yes.
Or the circumstance of it or the context amounts to defamation. We went to court saying that within the context in which the comment was made, it was defamatory, right? Now, they came to court firstly owning up to the comment. He said he was responsible for making that comment.
Yeah, but he couldn't deny that. It was a public press statement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, therefore, it was no longer in dispute. The court then had to determine...
That he had made the statement or not was
Exactly.
not in dispute. Yeah.
The court then had to determine whether or not, indeed, within the context in which the statement was made, right, some defamation had been occasioned. And the court said yes. By referring to Seidu as the ringleader of the kidnapping syndicate, by describing him as a hoodlum, by describing him as a bandit, indeed, you had cast him in a certain light. And then after casting him in that light, you associate him with Dr. Mathew Opoku Prempeh, right? You have defamed him. Especially so when Dr. Mathew Opoku Prempeh had described himself of being a certain standard, and you don't dispute that indeed he's of that status and standard, then you have defamed him. Now, the burden then has shifted to you, right, to prove one of three things. One, that the statement was true. Two, that it was fair comment. And three, it was not made with malice. Interestingly, Sammy Gyamfi never in a statement of defense pleaded that the statement was true. He never. And Paul, you are aware of the rules of police.
I don't understand.
In a statement of defense,
He didn't say that.
He never said that.
That Seydou is an error. So he said the statement is mine. He owned up to the statement.
He owned up to the
Okay,
statement.
and he didn't say that Seydou is an errand boy of Dr. Opoku Prempeh. It's true. He didn't say that.
He never said that. All he said was that the statement was based on facts that they had gathered. Indeed, when you look at his witness statement, Paul, paragraph 20 of his witness statement, Sammy said the statements were based on facts that had been gathered, which were verifiable.
Yeah, so he says it's true then.
No. All that he's saying is that he doesn't know about it as a matter of fact.
Yeah, that is verifiable.
Exactly.
But errand boy, is it verifiable?
No. Wait. Oh, yes. An errand boy is somebody who runs errands. I mean, somebody who goes about doing things for people.
For how long?
Well, it is for him to prove.
Yeah, but it's going to be very difficult to say somebody is somebody's errand.
Exactly, but he didn't go on even that tangent. Now, to prove that indeed the statement was true, because he himself was not a witness to it, so he couldn't say that I knew about it for a fact, and he had not stated that at any point in the processes that he filed before the court. Sammy then brought a certain Mathew Jibril. Mathew Jibril's witness statement was to the effect that he knows Dr. Mathew Opoku Prempeh. And the reason why he knows Dr. Mathew Opoku Prempeh is that he lives in his constituency.
Which is Menchia South.
Menchia South.
Okay.
So his claim to knowing Dr. Mathew Opoku Prempeh.
That he's his constituent.
He's his constituent.
Yeah, so he knows him, yeah.
Now, in the witness statement, this gentleman says he lives in Sepe.
In Kumasi.
In Kumasi. Paul, Sepe is also not in the Menchia South constituency. It's rather in Menchia North constituency.
Oh, but South and North.
Well, but you say you live in the constituency. There's more to it. Wait. On the day that he mounted the witness box, the gentleman now says he lives in Ashtown.
Ashtown is Menchia South.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, this gentleman is then confronted in the witness box during cross-examination.
So he changes the place that he lives.
He changes the place.
Does he seek leave of the court to amend his document?
No, he
Could
didn't.
he have done that?
He could have filed a supplementary witness statement.
To amend that one.
But no, you could have filed a witness statement and withdrawn the first one, right? Even before he went into the witness box, he could have done that. Now, when this gentleman mounted the witness box, then we asked him, you filed your witness statement on this date. Is that not correct? He said, yes. And when you filed your witness statement, you said that whatever you have stated is true. Is that not correct? He said, yes. Then, Paul, we went on to say that when you came to this court today, you said you live in Ashtown. Is that not correct? Then he says, yes. But in your witness statement, you said you live in Sepe. He said, you live in Sepe. Then this is his answer. Paul, listen. The reason why I told the court that I live in Ashtown is because I was born in Ashtown. I grew up there. I work at Ashtown. I only go to Sepe to sleep after work, after my day's work. Which is which?
Well, but that's not so unintelligent, I should say. He's making a point that he lives in Ashtown, so he knows about the occurrences and doings in Ashtown. He will know the Ashtown MP because he spends a lot of his time in Ashtown. That's really what he was saying.
You see, The reason why this gentleman said he knows the MP is because he lives in his constituency.
Yes, I don't know why his lawyers didn't amend the thing, if their case is true.
Oh, I'm coming. Then, in that statement where he said the reason why I know him is because I live in his constituency, he says that he lives in Sepe.
Yes.
Which
is not in the constituency.
Exactly.
But if you backtrack to 3 elections, it will be in the constituency.
No, at the time this incident happened,
I understand that.
It was not there.
Yeah, but then, how old is he? Do you know?
No.
Was he old enough in the last 3 elections?
Yes.
Yeah, so he probably was living in Mesha. It was Mesha constituency.
Well, Paul,
then sometime we said Mesha, not Mesha.
You know the principle about a competent witness.
Yes, fair enough. So what then did the courts agree?
Now, this gentleman had also attached a newspaper report, which is supposed to be a report of happenings that took place in the year 2012, where he said that he was attacked by Seydou Imba.
He himself, he the witness.
He the witness.
Sammy Gyamfi's witness.
Sammy Gyamfi
was attacked by Seydou Imba.
Seydou Imba.
Who is the subject matter.
Who is the subject matter. And this gentleman says that, look, at the time I was attacked by Seydou Imba, I was in the company of, Seydou Imba was in the company of Dr. Mathew Opoku Prempeh.
In the 2012 episode.
In the 2012 episode. Now, the report, we ask him, there is nowhere in this report that Seydou Imba is mentioned in the report.
The report that is the narrative reporting his potential attack or alleged attack, whatever it was, on political grounds, is that what he's saying?
That's what he's saying.
It was a political attack.
That's right.
That he was attacked by MPP. He's NDC.
He's NDC.
He was attacked by MPP people in 2012. And he says that at the time when he was being attacked, Dr. Opoku Prempeh Napo was in the company of his attacker, who is the same Seydou Imba.
That's right.
But did the report say that? The report he showed to the court?
The report never mentions Seydou Imba.
But the report says that Jibril was attacked.
The Mahfouz Jibril, the name Mahfouz Jibril, which is captured in the report, is different from the Mahfouz Jibril who appeared in the court.
Different by spelling or what?
Different by spelling.
Did you ask him that?
Yes. We suggested to him.
Is he the same Mahfouz Jibril?
We suggested to him that we suggest to you that you are not the same Mahfouz Jibril which is captured by that report. Because
it's a newspaper report.
It's a newspaper report.
So the newspaper is there, it's available.
Yes, it's available.
Did you ask the newspaper, the reporter, the editor?
Yeah.
Or you went to do all that?
No, it was not necessary because the burden was on them to prove.
Okay, so you suggested to him that he may not be the same person.
Yes.
What did he say?
He said he's the same person. Then we showed him the differences in spelling, right? And he said that, yes, some people spell his name differently. And then we suggested to him that there's nothing to confirm to this court that you, this gentleman standing in this court, you are indeed Mahfouz Jibril. No identification, nothing.
And this report mentions Mahfouz Jibril as the victim.
It mentions Mahfouz.
It doesn't mention Seydou Imba as the attacker.
Exactly.
The aggressor, nothing.
No.
It doesn't mention Mathew Opoku Prempeh at all.
It mentions Mathew Opoku Prempeh, as having been in the company of some people when the violence occurred. But Seydou Imba is not mentioned.
Did the report talk about the perpetrators of the violence at all?
They said they have run away.
That's all.
No
names were mentioned.
No names. I think one person was mentioned, but it was never Seydou Imba. But the subject of this suit was Seydou Imba.
Yeah, I get it.
And so,
so fundamentally, even if your client Napo was there, but the said Seydou Imba is not mentioned in the story, then it's not basis for evidence.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not.
And so the gentleman you brought, this gentleman, has controversy over where he actually lives, because that was the foundation upon which.
Well, he lives at Sepe. Well, he works at Ashtown.
But that is not what his witness statement said. Paul, it only became it is an afterthought. You know it. When you see, the best one.
So the court concluded and was convinced that it's an afterthought?
The court concluded.
Did you cross-examine Sammy Gyamfi in the court?
Yes, I cross-examined Sammy Gyamfi.
What did he tell you?
Sammy Gyamfi. Okay, so when Sammy Gyamfi then realized that the testimony of his witness had collapsed, then he mounted the witness box.
Oh, he came after the witness?
Exactly.
Not before?
No. We had...
Did he give an examination in chief, Sammy Gyamfi?
Yes.
He did?
He did.
And you didn't cross-examine him?
No. You see, the principle is now that examination evidence in chief is now reduced into witness statement.
Oh, I see. So he doesn't talk.
He doesn't talk.
Okay.
So until he mounts the witness box to tender
to be a witness to the
cannot
matter.
cross-examine.
You cannot cross-examine. Okay.
And we had, I'm going to share something with you. We had anticipated that Sammy Gyamfi himself will not go into the witness box.
Yeah.
But I think he was relying on Mahfouz Jibril. That gentleman they call Mahfouz Jibril. Whether or not he's indeed Mahfouz Jibril is another thing altogether. But they couldn't even prove he's the Mahfouz Jibril in court.
Did he have Ghana card?
He didn't bring any form of
passport?
Nothing, no form of
zero identification.
Zero identification, Paul.
What?
And anybody
to be a witness in court.
Exactly. Anybody at all can walk into the court and say, I am Paul Adom-Otchere.
Yeah, of course.
And so the court
But didn't the court demand that?
No, but you are doing your case, Paul. The court doesn't do your case for you.
We are in common law,
yes,
not civil law.
So, Paul, we suggested to him that there's nothing before this court confirming that you are indeed the Mahfouz Jibril, who is captured in the story. We
They didn't bring anything.
Nothing.
Why?
Nothing whatsoever.
I'm totally shocked.
Nothing whatsoever.
A lawyer prosecuted this matter. Now, forgive me, but I can't believe it.
Oh, nothing.
Okay, did they bring other people to identify him?
No.
You know, I'll share one minute story. You're running out of time. Hold on, let the viewers.
I'm also suggesting to you that there's no credible evidence before this court confirming that the plaintiff was arrested as you alleged, right? And then we suggested to him that he is not the Mahfouz Jibril who is captured in the story. So when Sammy then realized that Mahfouz Jibril, the purported Mahfouz Jibril's testimony had collapsed, then he decided to be the last killer. He mounted the witness box. And for the first time in this case, Sammy then comes to say that me, Sammy Gyamfi, I personally know that Dr. Mathew Opoku Prempeh, right, has a relationship with Seydou Imba.
A relationship?
Yes.
He didn't say errand.
No. He said he's seen them together whilst they were working at KMA. Whilst Sammy Gyamfi was working at KMA. He's seen them together during Akweside at Menchia.
That's not strong enough. Plenty of people go to Menchia for Akweside.
So, but you see, Paul, what Sammy failed to realize was that was a clear, contradiction to his own witness statement. Yeah. Because he has stated that everything he has said was on facts that he had gathered. Not on personal knowledge.
Yeah, and then he comes to the witness box. He's now adducing evidence in a personal capacity.
Exactly. So the judge analyzed or evaluated all these things and came to the conclusion that they were not credible.
Oh, so that's why he didn't take into account their testimony.
Exactly.
Which is his complaint, which is the basis of his complaint.
Exactly.
Right now.
And the judge is entitled to make those observations.
I'm telling you that I'm shocked about this identification because in 2001 as a reporter, I covered the quality grain case. And then it got very boring for us as journalists because somebody mounted the witness box. He said, "What is your name?" And we are wondering why the judge is asking Kwame Pepra his name. Don't you know Kwame Pepra? And the lawyers will explain to us it doesn't work like that.
Yes.
He says, "My name is Kwame Pepra." And then the judge says, "Can anybody identify him here?" And then the other accused persons, Ibrahim Adam, will stand up and the prosecutor, Safo Sampon, it was in those days, may he rest in peace, the DPP. He'll ask Ibrahim Adam that, "Who is this man?" He said, "Kwame Pepra." Then he will say, even the most boring words of it, he said, "Is he the same said Kwame Pepra who has been accused of?" Ibrahim Adam will say yes. They say, "Is he the same said Kwame Pepra who was Minister of Finance?" He will say yes. And then another person will come and then the judge says, "Okay, now we are satisfied that this is Kwame Pepra, let's move on." And we found that very boring. But in later years, of course, my other associations made me to know that it's very, very necessary.
Yeah.
But I can't, so they came, oh my goodness. So the guy came to court without identification.
No form of identification. A guy with a messy hair.
You should have arrested him.
Or a guy with a messy hair.
Maybe he's Rastafarian, that's the religion. So.
No, but messy hair. Yeah. This guy claims that in that melee in 2012, he suffered some cuts. He didn't show evidence of those cuts before the court. When Sammy Gyamfi mounted the witness box, I intentionally sought to do damage, damage that through, do damage through him. Then he said, "Well, it is your job. It was your job to have sought that information from you." And said, "Look."
Oh, you were inviting him to confirm whether or not the guy had those cuts. Yeah.
When the guy came to court, there was no cut. He said, but you are the lawyer. You didn't elicit that from him. At that point, I laughed.
Did your client also get cross-examined?
No. I decided not to put him on the witness box. Rather,
Okay.
I made him give a power of attorney to somebody who was very familiar, of this.
So that person was cross-examined?
That person was cross-examined.
Did that person bring an ID card to the court to identify himself?
Well, that it wasn't an issue.
Why?
His identification was not an issue.
Why?
No, because nobody challenged the fact that he was authorized to testify for the plaintiff.
Okay, so
Right.
the other lawyer didn't say, produce your ID card for me to know that you say you are who you are?
And indeed, his identification was not even necessary.
Why?
Because, you see, he was not somebody who was, who had put himself out as being able to confirm a particular situation. In the case of Mathew Opoku, he had elected to, testify in confirmation or to establish a particular or a material fact, right? And so his identification really and truly was necessary because he had come to court to say that this is Exhibit 4, right? A story where, I was butchered, and those people who butchered me had Seydou Imba as part of them, right? Now, first and foremost, we must establish who you are.
Okay, fair enough. I get that. So this was quite simple for the judge, wasn't it?
Yes.
So the judge then decided to dismiss the only witness that Sammy Gyamfi had.
Yeah.
So all the judge had was to dismiss the case.
Yeah.
And what was to approve your suit?
No, so Sammy Gyamfi's defense crumbled.
Yeah, it did, yeah. From what you are saying.
So what it means is that we had established our defamation, his defense had crumbled, the judge would then have to move on to determine damages, right? Oh, in Sammy Gyamfi's own witness statement, he has stated that that kidnapping event had dented Ghana's image on the international plane.
Yeah.
Well, if that is so, then anybody who has been associated with it, by extension, had had his image damaged, right? But do we need any further proof? Indeed, defamation is actionable per se, but you yourself have admitted that the event
had damaged Ghana's reputation. Therefore, if you associate somebody with an event that has damaged Ghana's reputation, then the damage that you have occasioned to the person's reputation is obvious.
Exactly.
Okay, why were you asking for 500,000
No,
cedis?
I asked for 1 million cedis. At the time, the cedi had not depreciated. It was quite a significant sum at the time. But
Has the cedi depreciated? You are going to bring Asemo.
Oh.
We are not talking about cedi depreciation. You are talking about Sammy Gyamfi and you are saying cedi depreciation.
Well, I'm saying that at the
and
time,
then you respond and say that did you watch the program? They started talking about their depreciation.
at the time, it was huge money.
Okay, so at the time, 1 million was
1 million,
in,
and the
in,
judge
in
gave
dollar
me
terms was big. And the judge gave you 500,000
500,000
cedis.
cedis.
Okay, so but now that they are going on appeal, they are not going to pay that money yet.
No. Paul, it doesn't constitute a stay of execution.
But they may file for one. Is it too late to file for one?
No, you can file, but the judges will determine whether
Yeah, I mean, they may file for one and they may obtain it.
they may obtain it.
Yeah.
But Dr. Mathew Opoku Prempeh is not a man of straw. Right? And so I don't see the exceptional circumstance in this matter. Right? I don't see the real likelihood of success.
From what you are saying,
And
it
I don't
doesn't
see- yes.
appear.
You know,
So what's the Court of Appeal going to determine then? They're going to determine
The
basis on which the Sammy Gyamfi's witness statement, Sammy Gyamfi's witness, what do you call him? He's who is he? He's a witness to
Mathew Opoku,
Yes,
DW1.
DW1, that's defense witness 1.
Yeah.
The Court of Appeal is going to determine whether the exclusion of the testimony of defense witness 1 was valid or not.
No, so it depends on the notice of appeal, the grounds they file. If they say there was a misdirection or an error of law, right? Or
If they allege an error of law.
that's right.
Then the Court of Appeal will
then
look
they will
at
have
it.
to give the particulars.
So the Court of Appeal is not going to bring back Jibril.
He's going to.
It's not going to bring back.
No.
They're just going to trial the ruling,
The court.
the judgment.
The judgment.
The judgment is on trial.
So the Court of Appeal, in determining an appeal, rehears the matter, but they don't call any witness. They only evaluate the record before them. So they will determine whether or not the judge's position that the inconsistencies on the part of Sammy Gyamfi's witness made his testimony not to be credible.
Yeah, okay.
So they are going to determine that whether or not it amounts to an error of law or a misdirection. So the Court of Appeal will determine that. You know?
Okay. Cameraman, get ready and get us a photograph of the lady who did the cross-examination so we can congratulate her. Tornado, you're standing in the way because you're going to pick that lady. And we end the conversation here. Bafo has done a good job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're going to be paid a lot of money. You're dealing with Minister of Energy.
Well, I mean, he's my big brother.
Okay, so this is the lady who actually did the cross-examination of Mahfouz Jibril. That's her. Wave to the camera. Thank you very much. She doesn't want us to see her face, so she has her mask on.
I'm actually coughing.
Oh, you're coughing. Oh, you're being responsible. Okay. So you get some rest tomorrow. It's a Friday. Congratulations. You've done well. And Lawyer Bafo, it looks like you're training your people very well. So this is a good defamation case that you believe that you have won, even though you have Court of Appeal and potentially Supreme Court to deal with.
Paul, look. Well, you see, when you lose a battle, obviously there can be a bad blood reaction. You know, when you lose a battle, obviously there can be a bad blood reaction. You know, as I sit here, I've got appeals that I'm doing written submissions for. Initially, I had a certain position. In drafting my written submission, I'm really suffering. You know, it happens to all of us. So maybe they will sleep and reflect on it.
And see that they don't need appeal at
Indeed,
all.
when Dr. Mathew Opoku Prempeh's witness attorney mounted the witness box, he said that post the statement, people called him to express concern about the statement. And that statement was never challenged. And the judge made reference to that in his witness statement, in his judgment. What is the effect of it? The effect of it is that you've admitted it. And all these things went into the judge's determination of damages. And Paul, the Court of Appeal does not interfere in an award of damages in a vacuum. They do so when you've established clear disregard by the court of the principles governing damages.
Okay, so they may be looking for an amendment of the damages to reduce it from 500 to 200.
Yes. But as I sit here, well, it's discretionary. And it's not easy challenging the court's discretion. Anything can happen, so let's watch them. It is possible you win a case at the High Court, you lose a case at the High Court, you can lose it at the Court of Appeal and win at the Supreme Court. Anything is possible. But for me, my client's instructions are that I should go all out and enforce the judgment.
Okay, so you are preparing to do that from tomorrow?
Yes,
all right,
please.
we ran out of time.